Hey, how are you?
Hello, Mr. Jenkins.
Hey, how's it going? It's nice to meet you.
Good. My name's Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Please have a seat.
Hi.
Welcome to this interview.
Thank you. Really liked your guys' building.
Yeah. We just moved in here about a year ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Are you from the area?
Yeah, actually. I wasn't born here, but I've spent about the past 15 years here. So yeah, you could say I'm from the area at this point.
Yeah, excellent.
Love Missouri.
Well, I don't know if you're familiar with Emmeline's frozen cocktails, but we've been a staple in Branson for about 50 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've been around a long time, and this is our busy summer season, so we are looking for a bartender. So are you interested in that position?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am, just a little backstory, I'm a huge fan of Emmeline's frozen cocktails.
Good.
Yeah, actually, every summer we would go down to the lake on Branson, down to Taneycomo, and we would hang out, and that was one of our favorite spots to go every summer. So, big fan.
You're familiar with us then. That's good. So we're just going to take about 15 minutes here for this first interview, and I will be asking questions and taking notes during the process. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, we're looking for a bartender. I'm not sure. Have you seen the job description?
So I took a glance of it online on the posting that I found. Yeah, it all sounds good to me.
So it'd be a lot of our drinks are frozen cocktails, so it'd be pretty easy. But you'd be making a lot of drink suggestions, answering questions, checking for ID, making the cocktails, and then checking them out. Have you used a POS system before?
I have, yeah. I've used a couple different ones.
Okay,
Aloha, I think, is a system that I'm familiar with.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. All right. So I just got a couple questions here for you.
All right.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I first and foremost have had about the past 6 or 7 years in the hospitality industry.
Mm-hmm.
A majority of those years have been spent anything from fast casual, working front of house, a little bit of cooking experience, but a majority of my time has been spent actually behind the bar and waiting tables in more of a fine dining, more formal sort of a setting.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I've done a little bit of everything when it comes to the hospitality.
Yeah, I see that from your resume here. Looks like you have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
So why do you want to work at Emmeline's Frozen Cocktails?
Honestly, coming from my previous jobs, I kind of mentioned it's a little bit more formal. I'm a little bit more of the higher end side of the industry. And as much as I love that, and I love the people, honestly, I'm finishing a couple classes in school right now. So I want something that's just a little bit more flexible, with my school schedule. And I really love, every time I go to Emmeline's Frozen Cocktails, I love the culture and the community that you guys have been able to develop.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see myself working somewhere a little more fun like that while I'm trying to get through school and whatnot. So that's really what got me interested in the position is the flexibility and the fun culture that you guys have grown there.
Yeah, very good. All right. Why should we hire you?
Well, I think I'm sure there's a lot of people qualified for the position, but I think what makes me unique is, again, like I mentioned, I do have pretty flexible hours being a part-time student.
Yeah.
So I can work around. I'm always open to filling in for shifts and that sort of thing. But first and foremost, I have a lot of years in the industry, which I think sets me apart. And I'm a people person. So.
I can see that. What would you say are your greatest strengths?
Resorting back to being a people person.
Mm-hmm.
I love to build a sense of community. And, some of my favorite customers are, the regulars that I get to build a relationship and a rapport with.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Why don't you tell me about a time you wish you had handled a situation at work differently? Something that went wrong that day, or if you could go back in time, what would you change?
Yeah. It's hard to say. We've all come through, situations where, hindsight's 2020 sort of a thing. I don't know, if I had to pick one, I would say one of the last places I worked at, I had a manager who was he was a great guy, but he had a family, he had another business, he worked all the time. And sometimes it kind of felt to me that he could be a little bit short with his employees, not just me, but just you could tell sometimes he was a little bit emotional on certain days. So that's a situation. Sometimes it sort of affected me and my mood. And I've learned over the years how to sort of overcome that because I want to, at the end of the day, I'm people facing, people forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of learned just to overcome that and really the importance of, setting someone aside and bringing up a problem and getting comfortable with talking through issues so we can communicate better and, put our best foot forward.
How would you deal with an upset employee or an upset customer?
I think, communication is the key.
Mm-hmm.
I think sort of my simple 1-2 approach would be just restate the issue as I understand it, just to make sure there's no miscommunication, make sure I understand what the issue is, and then step 2, how do I resolve this? What's the best outcome for all parties?
Yeah.
So I try to have a no fussy sort of approach and just keep it simple.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Let's see. What is the most important part of customer service, would you say?
Let's see. I think it's, at the end of the day, I think it's a positive attitude, right? Because why do people come to Emmeline's frozen cocktails, right? They come for a little slush of happiness,
Absolutely.
sort of a thing. So I think that's the sort of the first thing is putting on a good face and having good communication and rapport with our guests.
Yeah, definitely. How would your boss and coworkers describe you?
A people person. Yeah, I think people person, hard worker, and willing to stay late and get it done.
How do you deal with pressure or stressful situations at work?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I found through my experience, sort of the best approach that I found that works for me is to just sort of take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
Again, sort of reevaluate the situation. Sometimes just saying it out loud, just to sort of vocalize it, helps me sort of understand the gravity and what the issue is. And then I, can sort of calm down and then, approach with the best method.
Okay, great. What would you consider to be your weakness?
I can make a pretty strong cocktail. Sometimes too strong. No, honestly, in all seriousness though, I would say my weakness would be, I'm a hard worker, so sometimes I can spread myself too thin and not ask for help. So that's something I'm actively trying to manage and always get better at. Always moving to be a little bit better.
Okay, great. Well, what would you say is your greatest professional achievement so far?
Ooh, well, I'd have to say, one of the previous cocktail bars that I worked at, it was a really fun tiki bar. And at the time that it just opened, it was really trendy. And I was actually part of the opening team whenever it first opened. It was really good from the owners and everything. And I worked there for a total about a year and a half. And about a year in, I actually got recognized as the best bartender in our area in the 417 magazine.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
So
Well,
that was quite an achievement.
Congratulations.
Yeah, my mom
Wow.
even hung up the article on her
I bet
newspaper.
she did. I bet she did. Well, that is awesome. Okay. Let's see. Tell me about a time that you demonstrated leadership skills.
You know, let's see here. You know, there's been plenty of times where I've been the more senior bartender behind the bar during the night. And, the thing with the hospitality industry is there's always a huge turnover rate, right? So a lot of times you do get college kids coming in. They're kind of in and out. They might just stay for a couple months. So you're always kind of sort of training someone, sort of thing. So I would say, just being able to handle that position and being able to train on the fly during a busy night, being able to, keep calm and remember that someone's still learning and, that we're all working as a team here.
Okay. Great. Let me see here. Why are you leaving your current job?
Well, as much fun as the last job was, I really enjoyed it. Made some really good friends there. As I mentioned earlier, I am going back for a couple part-time classes. So I'm just looking for something that would, more fit in with a more flexible schedule that I'm finding myself in now, and something with more of a fun sort of culture.
Right. Okay. You did mention that earlier. My last question for you: what is your favorite cocktail and why?
I would say a hurricane.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, those are fantastic. And as to why, I don't know. This might sound silly, but I love the color. It's that electric blue. It makes me think of a pool party in the 1970s or something. And I love it. All the fun garnishes.
It's so fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Travis, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see, I think that's might be all I have for you. Did we go over everything you had thought of before coming in?
Yeah, actually, I did have a question or two.
Okay.
First, I know you guys have been around for 50 some odd years and more popular in the Branson area. But I was wondering, how many stores do you guys have total?
We have 2, and we're going to open a 3rd, hopefully within this next year. So
okay.
We're definitely growing.
And is that in the Branson area as well, or a little bit more spread out?
We have 2 in Branson, and then the new one's going to be in the Lake of the Ozarks area.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. I love both those locations.
Sweet.
Okay, so say that this does work out, and I had a position with you guys. I'm just sort of curious, as I mentioned, I love Lake of the Ozarks as well. Do you ever cross-train your employees to work at other stores or multiple locations, or?
We do, and we try to promote within the company.
Oh,
so
that's fantastic.
Definitely become a manager at some point.
Okay, well, that's always good to know that there's an option for upward mobility.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, I think that's all the questions that I had. Thank you again for taking the time.
Yes, thank you so much for meeting with me, and
of course.
We will be in touch.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Travis.
Thank you very much.